Hello. Hi, guys. TGIF, happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a great day and had a fantastic week. Today, I'm coming on to talk to you about a topic that is, I think, relevant to almost everyone today: sleep. I know many of you are not getting enough sleep. And in fact, I asked you in my Instagram stories poll yesterday, and some of you, raised your hand and told me that you weren't, whether you were getting enough sleep or not. And about 3/4 of you said, hey, no, I'm having trouble sleeping, or I'm not getting enough sleep. And so if that is you, if you have problems falling asleep at night, if you have this kind of phenomena where you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like, ugh, why am I awake? And you're kind of like staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the things that you have to do and, getting stressed out about it. You are not alone. In fact, the last statistics that I read, something like 70 million people in the US reported that they had some kind of a sleep problem. It's a very common thing that people talk to their doctor about. So and it can be really frustrating, obviously, because it impacts so many different aspects of your life if you're not getting enough sleep, So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And specifically, I'm going to be giving you 7 simple ways that you can get more sleep. So real quick, if you don't know me, my name is Jen Costanza. I am a health coach for women, and specifically I help women with boosting their energy, getting rid of that afternoon slump, getting fit, and managing and reversing chronic stress so that they can feel like themselves again and live life from a place of confidence and power. And obviously having, sleep is going to be really important in being able to do that. So let's get down to it. First, I wanted to review with you briefly, why is sleep so important if you're not yet convinced? Obviously, it feels like a nuisance if you're not getting enough sleep, right? But having poor sleep, not getting that at least 7 to 8 hours a night, waking up during the night, having, being a light sleeper can be problematic or cause other health problems down the road. So, a few of them are obviously first, weight gain. You might have noticed this. The thing is that poor sleep, especially in women, it messes with your metabolism. And when you're sleep deprived during the day, you'll end up probably eating more and reaching for those foods that like instinctively are going to give you energy, right? Like carbs and sugar. So it's like, on the one hand, it's messing with your metabolism, it's messing with your hormones, and you're exhausted and then making poor food decisions. So the other kind of problems that lack of sleep or lack of good quality sleep can cause are, chronic chronic diseases like diabetes. You can be more prone to accidents and injuries during the day when you're awake. You can have, it can cause you some brain fog, difficulty remembering things, during the night when we're asleep. That's when memory consolidation happens. So if we don't get enough sleep, we might not be, completely focused during the day, right? Poor sleep can also lead to anxiety and depression. And if you are in a position where you're feeling a lot of stress and it's keeping you from sleeping, chances are that lack of sleep can even make your stress feel kind of even worse during the day. So there's all these reasons why we want to be getting sleep, right? All these problems that a lack of sleep can cause. On the flip side, getting good quality sleep can have a lot of benefits for us. It can give you energy during the day. That seems pretty obvious, right? But it can also give you the energy that you need to make healthy choices for yourself, when it comes to diet or exercise or other kinds of, self-care. It can boost your immune system, super important. It can boost your mood. It can boost your sex drive. and it can make you more alert, focused, and creative. So, if you've ever heard that, if you can remember, that old phrase, just sleep on it, right? It's true, right? When you're having a problem and somebody tells you, oh, just sleep on it, you wake up and lo and behold, you have some kind of new ideas on how to address that problem. So getting good sleep, it's really good for us, right? It has a lot of benefits for us. So I'm going to get into 7 ways that you can boost your sleep. But first, I just want to touch on a couple things that you might have tried or thought of trying or might be doing that are actually not really great solutions to getting better sleep, right? So on the one hand, you have, prescription sleep aids and other kinds of sleeping pills that maybe you're buying over the counter, like NyQuil or I think they call it Z-Quil, I heard. And the thing is that these kinds of drugs they can help you sleep, right in that moment, in that night. They can give you kind of a temporary fix, but ultimately they're not addressing the root problems of why you're having a problem sleeping, right? So it's kind of a temporary fix, and you can become dependent on those drugs. So obviously I'm not going to recommend to you that you do that. Another thing, alcohol. How many of us have, had a drink at night to relax? And, obviously we know that sometimes it can help you fall asleep better. The thing is that you might fall asleep more easily at first, but think about this as well. You also might be waking up in the middle of the night, or just even like a couple hours later, if you've been drinking on a particular night. If you are drinking alcohol with the hopes of getting better sleep, it's actually going to become kind of poor quality sleep, even if it does mean you avoid, not being able to fall asleep in the first place. And a third one, and this one might surprise you, drinking herbal teas close to bedtime. So obviously, there's all these teas out on the market that are supposed to relax you and make you have better sleep. Like, I have one really popular one. It's called like Sleepy Time tea, right? Who hasn't heard of that? So it's Sleepy Time tea or other teas that are similar to that. They're great for helping you to relax, right? But if you drink liquid too close to bedtime, you're probably going to wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom. And that waking up in the middle of the night, even if you are able to fall asleep right after, it's still a disturbance to your sleep. So with that said, let's talk about some ways that you can really improve your sleep naturally. So, number 1, move your body daily. So one of the main factors that impacts your ability to sleep well is how much energy you're expending during the day, right? So, you want to try to get in some exercise, and it doesn't have to be a HIIT class. You don't have to be, running a marathon. It could be whatever, taking an easy walk, but you do want to get in some movement where you're expending some energy. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, I'm calling it, what do we call it? Stress reduction, mindfulness. You need to do something to calm your mind, calm your monkey mind, calm those thoughts that are racing. So, if you experience stress during the day, and let's face it, everyone does, right? Your brain and your body are on high alert. And if you can't relax your mind, you're going to have a problem falling asleep at night. It's just how many people, you're exhausted during the day, you lie down and you're like, why can't I sleep? And you're thinking so many different thoughts. So a few strategies that you could use to try to calm your mind and manage your stress on a daily basis might be yoga, like relaxing yoga. It could be meditation, and there's a lot of, it doesn't have to be meditating for a half hour or something like that. It can be something as simple as maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, in the morning, just to relax your mind. It could be deep breathing. It could be journaling, an aromatherapy bath before bedtime. Something that works well for some people is, keeping a notebook and a pen by your bedside, so that if you, either like right before you go to bed, or if you wake up in the middle of the night, and you have these thoughts going through your head, you write them down, and it can have the effect of kind of getting them out of your mind when they get onto paper. And then you're not kind of spinning your mind so much anymore. So whatever you do, obviously, everyone has to find what works for them, but you do, finding some way to reduce your stress, on a daily basis can really help improve your sleep. So, number 3, third tip, and you've probably heard this one before, is limiting your exposure to screens close to bedtime. And by screens, we're talking about especially your phone. It could be your phone, your tablet, your computer, possibly your TV. Basically, you want to limit your exposure to what we call blue light. That is the light that's given off by these electronic devices. The thing is that trust me, I understand, and I'm guilty of this too. You watch Netflix to relax at night, before bed, and you might feel like you're getting relaxed, but your body is not getting relaxed. Your brain is not necessarily getting relaxed. The blue light that comes off the screens is telling our body that it's daytime and that it's not time to get relaxed. So it's kind of like this opposite thing that's happening. So, a good rule of thumb might be to lay off the screen starting an hour before bedtime, maybe even 2 hours. An alternative thing you could do is, instead of watching Netflix or watching TV, what if you listened to a podcast? What if you listened to something where you don't have to be using your eyes and staring at a screen? That could be an alternative. So limiting screens. And then kind of related to that, number 4 is creating a peaceful sleep environment. And I'll tell you why it's related in a second. So peaceful sleep environment, some people refer to this as sleep hygiene. I don't know if any of you might have heard of that term before, but the idea is to make your bedroom a place for sleeping, intimacy, and virtually nothing else, right? You don't want to be working in your bedroom. And so what would that mean, practically speaking? So it would mean, first of all, removing all electronics, if you have a TV in your bedroom, removing the TV, removing computers. Ultimately, if you can do it, removing your phone. Maybe find an alarm clock that is not attached to your phone. Cleaning up clutter in your room so that it is a clean and peaceful space. Putting your clothes away, making your bed, all those things your mom told you to do when you were a kid. Another idea, painting the room a color that feels soothing to you. Creating darkness. It's easier for us to sleep when we are in a dark room. So that might mean, having thick or blackout curtains, but it could also just mean wearing a sleep mask. And also quieting outside sounds. So depending on where you live, this may or may not be a problem. But if there are sounds that you can't get rid of, that are, if you live in an urban area and there's a lot of noise outside, maybe try creating some white noise. In the summer where I live in Rhode Island, it's really simple. You just put on the air conditioner, right? Or you can put on a fan. You could also try earplugs or headphones just to create a quiet atmosphere for yourself. So that's what we're talking about when we say creating a peaceful sleep environment. Tip number 5 is cutting down on caffeine. I know you don't want to do this. I know that this, evokes a lot of resistance. It's so hard to do, right? But so this is what I will say about this. If you are having a problem sleeping, where you are, you have insomnia, or you wake up in the middle of the night, which is kind of another form of insomnia. If this is happening to you and you're drinking coffee, or any kind of caffeinated beverages during the day, then, this is something that if you really want to improve your sleep, you're probably going to want to try at least starting to cut down on caffeine. You can see how it goes. You cut down a little bit, see if that helps improve your sleep. The thing is that even if you don't think that caffeine is causing your sleep problems, chances are that it's probably having some kind of impact, because any kind of substance that you ingest that kind of artificially either speeds you up or slows you down is going to have some kind of impact on your sleep. And you're really never going to know unless you try to eliminate or cut down on it in the first place. So it's kind of an experiment, and you can decide whether it's a time for you to try that out. So that's number 5. Number 6 is cultivating a morning routine. Now you might be thinking, oh, why am I talking about morning when we're talking about sleep? Bedtime at night. I really believe that, creating, planning for good sleep really does happen the first thing, when we get up in the morning, right? So, try to start your day with some self-care in the morning. And here's a really important thing. Get outside, expose yourself to sunlight or just to daylight in general as soon as you can. This has the effect of kind of tricking our body into thinking, well, it's not really tricking it. It's actually showing our body that this is daytime. This is time to wake up. This is our wake up time. And it can kind of put us into a better rhythm of being able to, wake up in the morning and then fall asleep at night. All right. So, and this is kind of related to my last point, which is sticking to a consistent bedtime and waking time, right? So our bodies like to be in a rhythm, and they especially like to be in a rhythm with nature, circadian rhythm. So try to choose a bedtime and a wake time and just stick to that time, on a daily basis as much as possible. I understand that this can be difficult sometimes on the weekends, but the best that, the more that you can stick to a consistent time, the easier it will be to fall asleep at night and to stay asleep and to wake up in the morning. And so kind of related to that, like I just said, as much as possible, try to match your bedtime and wake time with, the cycle of the sun. So obviously during the year, depending on the time of year and when the sun rises and sun sets, it's going to be different. But the closer you can get to the rhythm of the sun and being awake when there's daylight out and asleep when there's no daylight, the better that your sleep is going to become over time. So, just to wrap up. So, tip number 1, move daily. Tip number 2, practice some kind of stress reduction, calm that monkey mind. Number 3 is limit your exposure to screens for, at least an hour before bedtime. Number 4, create a peaceful sleep environment in your bedroom. Number 5, cut down on caffeine. 6, cultivate a morning routine. And 7, stick to a consistent bedtime and wake time. The last thing, I haven't talked a bit about food at all. And that's probably a topic for a whole other session. But obviously diet matters for just about anything that's going on in your body, including sleep, right? So what you eat and drink and when you eat and drink it, can either improve or disrupt your sleep. A couple things that you could consider are, eating a clean anti-inflammatory diet with lots of vegetables and fruits is probably going to, have a positive effect on your sleep, either directly or indirectly. And another thing, this is really important, of making sure that you're not eating too close to bedtime, maybe leaving at least like a 3-hour block of time between when you're eating and when you're actually lying down to go to bed is going to help set you up for a good night of sleep. So, I hope that those tips are helpful for you. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay, please stick them in the comments or message me. I'd be happy to help out. And I offer a free 30-minute discovery call for anyone who's interested in, exploring your health goals, what you're challenged by, what your vision is for your life, and thinking about, kind of like discussing what would be a path forward towards meeting those goals. And in that call, we can also, talk about, well, what would it be like to work together? And if you're interested in that, please send me a message and we'll get a conversation started. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. And I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.